Joining me now to discuss is Scott Melbye. Scott is the Chief Executive Officer at the Uranium Royalty Corp and the Executive Vice President of Uranium Energy Corporation. Very good to have you with us, Scott.
Michelle, it's my pleasure to be here, and indeed, very exciting times for uranium and nuclear energy.
I'm sure it is your pleasure with both of the companies that you work with hitting 52-week highs today. But before we get into that, let's focus on uranium, the commodity, because as I just touched on, uranium prices have shot up 56% over the past 9 weeks, up to about $47.10 a pound. What is driving this phenomenal rally?
Yeah, the easy answer, it's the rebalancing of the supply and demand fundamentals for uranium. But we really got an assist about 8-9 weeks ago with the entrance of the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust and their ATM financing, which has allowed them to enter the market and buy up to $1.3 billion worth of uranium off the open market. Again, I don't see that as a catalyst as much as it was really the tipping point. The fundamentals are really the fact that demand for uranium and nuclear generation has responded back to pre-Fukushima levels. We've seen 57 new reactors come online around the world. We're now building small modular reactors in various markets, but also the production consolidation that occurred in really 2017 and has really been at a gap of about 40 to 60 million pounds per year globally, production to consumption gap over the last 5 years. So it was really inevitable that we would start to see the uranium price move, but it was the Sprott activity that's really provided price discovery and the liquidity that was been badly needed in the uranium market.
And the bigger picture is the push towards so-called cleaner energy decarbonization and the fact that nuclear energy is being seen as a primary source of that, and for the first time in a very long time enjoying bipartisan support, at least here in the US. So talk us through that dynamic.
Well, it's really a mega trend that I haven't seen in my 37 years in this industry, in that society is really facing a conundrum. Is that policymakers and society in general wants to move to cleaner, carbon-free energy, but the math and science hasn't exactly added up on how we get there. And so we've seen $10,000 electric bills in Texas. We've seen blackouts in California. We've seen energy crisis now in Europe and Germany's reliance on natural gas from Russia. So I think it's really beginning to be a broader realization amongst policymakers, environmentalists, investment community, that nuclear energy is an important part of a carbon-free future. And it's just seeing that broader acceptance is really now translating in favorable public opinion towards nuclear. Let's face it, nuclear energy is as clean and carbon-free as wind and solar. It's as safe as wind and solar, but where it really differs is it runs 95% of the time, as opposed to intermittent renewables that run 30% of the time. So we're really filling an important niche at a time where energy policymakers really need that baseload carbon-free energy.